Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would get busy on this starter CV again and start doing the next part of the build, and that is getting working on the interior. Right now, the hull is looking like this. Obviously, I made quite a few more modifications, especially to the bridge area. I did put in a drone hatch again, but it actually has a regular door by it. It's a tight drone hatch, so I'll have to see if that works out okay or not. Um, but yeah, you can kind of see what's going on here. I did add in a future housing placement for four drill turrets there, or not turrets, but well, four mining drills. So you can take this out and do a little CV mining once upgraded. It's not going to come stock with those. Um, you kind of get an idea on what it's looking like as a whole. Of course, I'm going to probably still do some more tweaks to the body. I also did some block work on the lower side of it. Let me get this off the ground a little bit here. And you can kind of see the bottom side has a little more stuff going on than flat blocks. That's so. Anyway, here, I'll get this back on the ground so I don't have to hear the thrusters the whole time. And we'll get working on this thing here. Come on, turn off, turn it off. There it goes. Yes, yes. Yeah, kind of a thing when you gotta hear thrusters the whole time. So on the inside, this is where it was left off at. I didn't touch the interior at all, and it's got. And basically, I got to start working this hangar area out. I think it's going to be the most important to get right. Um, so let me kick on some stuff here. And the first thing I wanted to do actually is work out the medical bay area. So I've got parts just kind of thrown all through here. Oh, one last thing I forgot to show is CPU wise, I'm pushing it. I'm pushing it right to the limits here of being like a tier two CV stock at least. So I'm not scared of this. I can manipulate things, and I'm pretty sure I can make it work as it is. I know it doesn't have an interior on it, but it does have like all these CPU parts placed in it already, just as placeholders right now. But all right, so let's start on the medical area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just wipe out all these guys over here. Placeholders. Now I want a shower. I want air or oxygen, and then the full medical suite installed. So what I was thinking about doing is kind of putting that in this general area, and I want to build like a housing for it. Um, to start with, I'm going to place the shower, and I want to give it just a little bit of room. So let's put the shower here for now. Again, kind of a placeholder, and just try to figure out where the main parts are going to go. So let's say we've got anything I'm placing right now could change for sure, but let's say we've got these two pieces here. We're going to want oxygen, and we're going to want your standard medical bay, and then we're going to want all our support equipment. So what I'm thinking is up top here, we'll get into the alternative parts here, and I'll put these two small parts, and we'll mount those to the wall. I'm trying to figure out which angle they may look the best at. How about, let's try that. And yeah, okay, so we got those two placed. And let's head over here, and I'm probably going to need a couple full blocks. Now, because this is interior, I'm using carbon substrate. If it has any contact to the exterior, I'll use steel, and that's just kind of the standard on this particular build. I typically do that on most builds. Alright, so the other parts. We got the two small ones in there, and we want the two big ones, but I don't want these to push out into the hangar much. So I do want to have these tilted like something like that. Let's put in another full block over here and put that other part in place. Okay, so it's kind of a general layout. We've got all our pieces that I wanted to have involved with the medical area, and now we want to kind of create a housing for it, or something that so it looks like it's a thing, like it's its own separate entity inside the creation here. So that would be kind of like a trim border around it. I'm also kind of taking a look at this block too, as this could be a really nice spot to put in a LCD sensor if it gets sealed up. And I do have like a generator above there too, so I gotta watch out for that. But let's start doing some block work here on the wall. I'm thinking I just something. I just want a border. You know, I don't want anything too fancy. Something that could kind of make this look like it's all one thing. But I also want to not have this door look like it's got a big, I don't know, big thing sitting there. So I don't know. We'll have to figure this out. But here, let me get this rotated. And let's say we've got a strip that kind of runs across the top here. And another, maybe something that comes down like that on that side. This side here, this is, maybe I should get rid of that one. We'll reverse this and run that down to here. But I want this block to be different because there's a door there. But I want it to work out to the same angle on the end, if possible. I'm not going to do it with that block. Let's see, what other neat blocks could fit in here? Essentially, I want to get rid of this gap so you don't see this. And then I also want it to blend in with this. And there's not going to be a lot of blocks to choose from for this. Of course, I could put in like something solid like this. Could work. If I did that, I'd probably want to do the same thing on the top. But yeah, it's bigger than it needs to be though. That's kind of bugs me a little bit too. Really scrutinize over some of these little details here. Well, let's start there. Okay, let's say this part is all our trim around the medical bay, and this would probably undoubtedly be a full block as well. We can make nice little borders around there or fill in those gaps. That part's okay. It's just what block to put here. Man, I don't know. I mean, I could go with something like that, but then that would force me to do that to this block as well. It may end up being the best option, though. We'll see. So let's get in this top piece. Looks a little wasteful. I wonder if I can utilize this area and one of these two blocks as something productive, but we'll get to that in a sec. Let me next, there's a weird little block that I can fit in here, this little round thing. It's like the only half block thin like this, but it's just what's needed right there. Alright, so we've got kind of that set up. Let's see if I can remove that block or not. Okay, so this is one of those blocks that has, you can see to the outside in, so this will be a steel block and not a carbon substrate block. It's kind of my rule. If it has any outside access, it's going to have to be a hull material. So what I'm doing now is just kind of I'll put in one steel block and then I'll use that same block in carbon substrate. Weight is the enemy on a build like this, especially. Enemy on most builds, actually, but this one in particular because it's only going to have limited thrust, and I can't just start throwing more thrusters on there to compensate for more weight. I'm kind of limited there. So, yeah, let's try that. And I'm kind of curious, you know, one part that could fit here nicely, and something that this hangar will need somewhere in it, is a ventilator. So let's take one of these squares. How about the top one for now? And I'll slap in this half block ventilator. So now I don't feel like we're wasting space here. Alright, well that's kind of a start to that. So let's go up above here. So we got a generator location there. Same thing on the other side. In fact, in this area, since I want these to be matching, I do want to turn symmetry on. Just for this. And what I'm thinking about doing is I've got this, I got more room over here that isn't very used. And I got this generator kind of, you know, way over here. kind of pressed up against the side of the landing pad. And I'm thinking about just removing that and putting it down a block row over here. A little bit more, a little bit safer, maybe. But it's more visible, and that was kind of the point I was looking at mostly. So we've got a generator there, and let's back that generator with how about one of these expensive size class blocks. I'm not really caring about the size class on this. It's going to be low size class. I'm pretty sure it'll end up being a size class 2. So I'm not too concerned about it. It doesn't make any difference on the cost. So then I want to do something above and around the generator too. So what I'm going to do is remove the blocks that are directly around here plus that extra block on the side. And we're going to have to go back to steel here and try to get something a little bit more interesting looking above there. It doesn't have to be expensive, just maybe a little bit interesting. We'll see. I'm kind of looking at some of these ramps right now, or these curvy pieces. Just kind of curious how that would work out. If we had something like that, again, I use steel there because of proximity or that gap there. I want to do with that, or you know what? Hold on. Let's just try to go a little bit simpler here. Rather than that, let's just put in one of these. Some form of wedge block. That work, or should I go with this one? How about that one? Okay, and then we'll get the carbon substrate variation of that in there too. And say we run that there. Okay, so now let's take out another 4 blocks here. Kind of trying to make this thing to accent the generator spacing in there. On this block row, let's just go with the. Let's at least start with a half block. Whatever I use here has to have a solid backside to it, so, because it's part of the landing pad. So whatever block works that you can manipulate the inside of, but keep the backside pretty uniform, I would say. Let's take out one more row of blocks here too. For now, I'm going to just double this up. 2 of those half blocks, and then over on this side, we'll have it go back down. I think I got that rotated right. And again, all steel. So now it kind of looks like it's this whole piece, and that's exactly the look I usually try to go for, at least this day and time. So okay, so what's below there? Looks like the blocks below the generator here are not very. I can't change this front one, so it looks like the generator is going to have to sit on a full-size block there. But what about the block in one space there? Okay, so that is going outside. For uniformity purposes, though, maybe it just should remain full blocks. Because I can't change that front one. If I could change the front one, I'd probably try to do something for the 4 blocks around this area, but I don't think so. So I'm going to just put those back in. That's not going to work out too well. And then this block here, next to some cargo extensions. Nah, we're just going to have to fill that in, I do believe, too. So I'll just grab a standard substrate block and throw it in there. And one thing neat is this this one block on the inside. There's, where was that? Right here. I got a open space, which is kind of neat. It could be a useful area to put in a LCD or LCD projector, I would say. So I could print medical or something across the front of this area. That'd be kind of nice. All right, so that is established a little bit. Now what I'm thinking about doing is I would like to have the option to have more than the 2 stock generators in the ship. If you start adding in more things, you'll probably need more power. So it'd be nice to have a aux area to add in some more generators. And maybe back out in this section might be a good area, but I do got to watch it though, because this is kind of room for a big thruster. So I gotta keep that space available for that. So what I'm going to do right now is I think I'm going to just put in some full simple blocks here to kind of seal that off a little bit. I know the thruster depth would go to there, and this area would have to be sealed off anyway. So then we can put in our big thruster, and this is what we got on the inside available. And this is also a thruster location right there, which would be a 2-block thruster. So this could be a solid block on the bottom, and I would need a solid block there and there. Or, well, not necessarily solid, but I just need a block there to, you know, keep it sealed up good. Alright, so this wall area here, can we stick in another generator? Is that possible? After all those parts are sealed up. The only real location, I'm going to get rid of this fuel tank for now too. We're going to need more fuel in here, but how is that really going to work out? Does that, oh, you know, actually that doesn't need to have that block there because it's only 2 deep, so this block would seal that off. And that would actually work out quite well, because then I could add in another generator here. And actually repeat that same pattern. Let's say we did that. I'll do this one in steel on due to the proximity of where the rear thruster would be. So let's put in one of these. Something like that. And then let's see the top of it. Can I manipulate the top the same way I did on the other one? Probably. So let's, what block was used? Was it this one? No, it was this one. Okay. And let's see, is any of this outside? Okay, this one would be butted up to a thruster, so I'd want the 1 block in steel, and the other 3 can be carbon. So say we put that there, and then the carbon version of that, and there, and here, and let's get rid of that one. Is that still on the inside? Yes, it is. Oh, wait. Okay, this has to be steel as well. Again, trying to seal off these thrusters. Alright, so the idea is I'm just trying to use the bare minimum of steel I can, as long as I can line that up to the outside, because it's a weight thing. I'm not really caring much about the cost. It's more of a weight issue. So let's pull out these blocks above here, and it looks like one more row. And with steel here again, we'll just repeat that pattern real quick. Something like that. See if we got that rotated correctly. Doesn't look like it. Okay, so what I just did there, if you didn't know, is I set it up so I could texture this surface separately from that surface. And that's it. That's why I rotated the block. Do that quite often. So you can just paint them different colors, or you have more options when you're texturing the creation that way. All right, so those 2 areas look pretty uniform. The rest of the wall here, let's see, what should we do with this? If I'm following the same pattern, it would be pretty boring, but kind of uniform. So I would actually have just a full set of blocks going across that row. But I don't want this to stick out. I want to try to keep this hangar width the best I can. It is not a super wide hangar for sure. So I want to watch that a little bit. Now something I got to think about too is position of fuel tanks and things like that. I would like to get some in here but I don't want them to be in the way of anything important. And, geez, what can we do with this wall? You know, something else we're going to need in here is some O2 tanks. That's something I don't think I placed any O2 tanks in here. Not that it's going to need a huge amount, but I'd like to get like 4 of these somewhere in the ship at least. Wouldn't be bad. So this would be a valid spot for O2 tank here. It's away from the thrusters. These 2 blocks here probably should just be, they're again sealing off thrusters, so I'm going to go with steel there. Now this wall is incredibly flat and boring, but there's things stuck in the middle of it. So what else could we do to dress this up a little bit, but not like I don't really want to do much so it like lessens the width of this hangar area either. So it's pretty tight. And other parts. What other parts could go in here? See, if I was gonna do this right, if this wall stays unobstructed and this wall comes out a little bit, it leaves a fairly decent width between both. So maybe I will try to keep on focusing on more standard parts on this side and kind of leave this one mostly bare bones. We'll see. So I'm going to turn symmetry off again. And next area that I think could go in here, we probably need a bit of a divider here first, and then maybe try to get in. I don't know. How about the like repair base stuff, or armor repair and armor locker? Let's kind of go hand in hand. Let me grab those parts here a minute. So armor locker, armor repair may not come stock on the ship. I have to evaluate what resources that takes. And now I can't find it. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Okay, so hypothetically, I don't know if I want that right next to the shower. Nah. Let's put this over a block row, say, and we'll put that there, and say one of these next to it for now. And this gives me a couple block spaces over here to do something with. Let's make a bit of a trim wall or something here. Maybe a couple like that. And for uniformity's sake, I'm going to run those same blocks across the top of here too. It's kind of like the whole thing of this ship. The outside's kind of done this way too. A lot of trying to be uniform. Say we have that, and there's one block that will fit in this spot. It's going to force a square corner, but at least it works, and it keeps that this trim, or this little flat edge I like to use on those. If you just have the straight wedge block that comes down to a sharp point, it looks like it would be dangerous. Like it's too sharp and too skinny at the end, and that's why I like using a lot of these with the blended fronts on them. All right, so we have a couple things kind of installed in the wall over here. Not bad. Plus this part here. Let's try to figure out what's going to happen up in this journal area and in the ceiling. And back onto symmetry again for this, so I can repeat the pattern on the other side. So it's a 2x2 area. I'm first trying to think of any parts that would work out good. They're ship parts that you would want. Basically the ones laying around the middle of the floor here. I do have things like Wi-Fi and a detector. That could be a possibility, but you know, something I really want to get in here is some fuel. I think, yeah, let's try to shoot for some fuel tanks. It's kind of up and out of the way here. I'm keeping it a little bit away from the generators. Even if I can only fit one fuel tank there, then we could have a couple other locations. There's more room in the ship, so I'm not so worried about finding homes for them, but just kind of want it to look neat. Do we change everything and just kind of like say, hey, this is a curvy now over here? Kind of works. Let's curve out these blocks too and make this pattern fit the front and back of the hangar ceiling. Something like that there. So everything kind of looks pretty organized right now, and that's what I want. It's just organized. Stuff is convenient. These pieces here, I'm gonna just pull these out now. They're gonna go up in the farm section, so your fridge and food processor will go there. The core and core blocks will go elsewhere as well. These are kind of wherever they fit. Okay, so we don't, since we added that there, we don't need this here. And I've got these blocks below this staircase. The staircase is not airtight and also very weak, so this does need to be surrounded by steel blocks. They don't have to be full steel blocks, but it does have to be surrounded by steel blocks. So let's work a little bit on the front side of this now. And you know what I'm going to do too, just to make it prettier, I'm going to just replace all the textures to make them the standard white here. I usually will not do that to the cargo extensions though until I'm like done and it's solid and I'm in the texturing phase. This way, if I got to move some extensions for whatever reason, which happens quite a bit, I know exactly which ones are, and I don't have to whip out the multi-tool and try to guess. Well, not guess, but it's easier this way. All right. Actually, this whole trim ring actually kind of doesn't need to be there either anymore. It's I'll keep it for now, but yeah. All right. So below the steps should be steel as well, because this is really weak, and that would be this block, and this block can go away. And I want to kind of come up with something that fits here. So whatever we put in here, I want it's got to come up nicely to the edge of these ammo boxes. Just soon fill that all the way in. So let's just do a couple full blocks there. And we do know that we got to have steel in this section. So I'm going to add one full steel block there as well. And let's see, this should be the second part of the steps. And then after that, it's steel. Okay. Yep. So maybe a beveled edge of some kind here. Start with the middle steel one. That has to go over the entire block. I want to do that. Or should I go with something a little different? Let's try this. Okay, so we've got our steel block there. That should be sealing off the stairs. Let's go back into carbon. Do I do the same block? That could kind of work. But let's, above these ammo boxes, let's change that. I want to keep the same beveled edge on the top, but open up the bottom a little bit so they're a little more visible. Maybe something like that. And now I got to figure out how this is going to mesh in with the generator here. So you know what? To start with, I think the blocks that I changed up here should just get converted back, probably all the way across to just full steel blocks there. To do that on this side real quick too. Okay. So now we got a nice little ridge up there. And this one could probably convert back into the larger wedge shape with the beveled edges, or flat, whatever edges. That works there. I gotta assume this block did. Oh, I see what I did there. Okay, so we'll do that. Actually, when I did do the one generator, I guess I didn't have symmetry on. I thought I did. But let's do that. And we know we're going to want one of those there to fill that in. Alright, so ceiling and going down into the elevator area. Another thing, I do want to keep this area flat right above the controllers. Because the LCD will go there, that needs that flat area to work. But that's just above it. So we can go down another block row here. And I could actually use that same block. Maybe I'll do that for now. We'll see how it comes out. And in the center here, do we want, how do we want to do this? Do we want glass? Glass isn't bad. Although I do it so often. One of my things too is when I build these, I'm always trying to mix things up a little bit. It's really easy, you know, once you build something that you like, you know it works. It's really easy to go back and do that same thing again on a different build. But I don't know. It's I'm always trying to mix things up. I mean, that's one of the things. I could do things a little bit differently, but I don't know. We'll see how it comes out. And let's see here. This is kind of a neat area that something interesting could be put, even if it's something like a detector or something. Huh? Yeah, maybe that's the idea. Could be a nice place to put that. The more stuff I can fit in here now, the less I got to try to cram into the engineering area, which is it's tight. So I just soon get what I can out here. Okay, so nice place for the detector, and then we're going to need a door here to seal this hangar off. Now, although this is a starter CV, I am using armored glass and armored doors on it. Oh, come on, select that one. There we go. Okay, so what door? And where should that door be? If I open the door from here, see, that's a problem. I don't want that to happen. Do not want to see those doors open up into things. So I thought there was, yeah, there's center doors now. That is kind of a new thing, and that might be the best thing I could do here. Because this way that would guarantee that you don't see doors like going through walls. Keeps that little gap between the elevator and the exit. So this could be a little bit more of a shape blocked here, I suppose, too. Maybe something like that. Kind of lines up okay. Alright, so let's get some little trimmy things in here. And with those LCDs, I think I can get away with putting this here. I guess if I can remove it later, but we'll do that. And let's just kind of fill those in too for now. Alright, so now the center of the hangar, I want most of this center row here to be a full block height, so I can easily place lights or sensors or things on it. But we kind of got that same thing going on next to the center too. And I don't really want to do any addition blocks. In other words, when I do these interiors, this is pretty low hangar. Obviously, the ceiling's just above where the door opens up. So if I got hanging stuff here, I'd prefer not to have to use that. Add more blocks and a little bit more build time. So what I'm thinking about doing is trying to maybe indent some more blocks up here. at least in areas. Well, let's see if we can make this look like something a little bit interesting. So let's say we had a couple of those. And okay, so we got a, we'll just say this is a main support beam going across, so I don't want to interfere with that. Try to keep this fitting in this journal area. But it would be really neat to have something a little bit neater to look at here. Let's try this again, see if this can do anything worthwhile for the setup. No, not too bad. Back that by a couple more of these. And we've got a thing there, whatever that might be. Okay, that part's alright, that part's alright. It looks like we got a support beam going across the back. That's not so bad. Alright. Next part, we'll do the same thing here again to fill that in. Alright, so Wi-Fi, that's something else, and fuel. Fuel and Wi-Fi, and this other side wall here. Now this is still a little boring on the ceiling though too, so I'm kind of looking at that, trying to think of something that could be done with the blocks that are there to try to make it look a little spiffier yet, but we'll see. And okay, so we got those two parts placed. Now, being a starter CV, it probably should be capable of doing vehicle repairs, probably from within the hangar too, in which then you would want to have a some kind of temporary or a spot to place a repair bay in the middle of the bottom of the hangar. And I'll just grab some repair bay. This is just a placeholder again, so it'll be removed before the ship is released. But just say, what would be a good place for the repair bay? About there. Maybe a couple blocks up from there. And that's getting kind of in a little tighter spot in the hangar. I think I'd be better served if it was just kind of in the middle. About there. Okay, we'll keep it there. Again, it's not a very big hangar, so. And did I screw up anything on the bottom here? No, I think I'm okay. Okay, so now, because of that, ooh. Yeah, I got to think about the aesthetics on the bottom here too. So because of this repair bay, I got to seal this up and seal up the area below the repair bay. Otherwise, it's just generally exposed to the outside, and as you can see, 500 hit points. It is weaker, but it does have more hit points than I thought it did, I guess. Not that that's a lot or anything, but I'm going to just seal this up with something. Just, maybe put some kind of full steel block above that, and maybe a couple little trim blocks here to make it appear a little more aerodynamic. I've got this round thing here that I was thinking could be a potential lower turret position, and if I put a block right there, I'll screw it up. So, another idea. Let's get the solid one of these, and that kind of is a wedge that ends there. And then these blocks here aren't going to work out anymore either. So, why don't we, no, that doesn't work either. Yeah. I want to keep this solid wall sealed on that side, so I don't think I have any choice but to put in a full block here. Okay, well that should work. Okay, so now we got area for a potential repair bay. Don't know if it'll ever be used or not. Maybe if so, depending on who's playing and what they're doing, I guess. And let's grab a console too. Let's see, where's the console? There you are. And where would be a good place for the console? That kind of fits pretty good right there. Again, keeping it all on the one side so I can keep this side freed up more and not try to keep the hangar space as much as I can. All right, so that handles those two things. So we've got our O2, we've got all our medical, armor, oxygen, detector. Okay, back down to fuel. So we've got 2 fuel tanks in the back. I'm shooting for 4 to 6 fuel tanks in the ship, and I don't think I have any mounted anywhere else in the ship currently. Although there's probably some room for it. But I'll just try to keep this wall completely flat over here. If anything at all, maybe some little really thin block trim, maybe. But now I got to deal with this part here. So on the outside, what do we got going on here? So that block starts to peer to the outside. What about this block and this block? Same idea. Symmetry is off. Okay, good. So let's take this section and try to angle out a little smoother than what it was doing before. Not even sure what that just said or why. I think I touched on the ground with a block. Okay, that's all right, but this, because of the wedge angle I used on this, it's not going to work with that. I kind of want it to work with that for uniformity purposes. So, God, what would work here though? Really nothing. Oh no, this would work. Okay, so let's say 2 of those, and put these back to full blocks. And then we'll switch over to carbon. And this block will fit nicely on that edge over there. And then it can be backed by a couple more of these. So it kind of has a bit of uniformity to the other side, although different. Okay, so one thing I don't know if I'm liking right now is this little jog right on the bottom of both of those. So here, let me swap those out too. And there's an alt block that only has a bevel on one side. Which might fit better. Oop. If I can rotate it right. Okay, there we go. So then that gets rid of that little bevel on the bottom side, which really didn't line up to anything. But keeps the same bevel going across the top. Okay. Again, fuel tanks. I want to make sure that somehow I didn't screw up my storage either. I've done that before. It's can be kind of easy to do sometimes. Okay, storage is good yet. Man, I'm just kind of thinking what could be added over here. Anything more? I guess what I'm not liking is the utter boringness of this wall. And what's kind of blocks? Yeah, we got a lot of block stuff going on the outside, so not too many of these are probably changeable. The only thing I could really do is do a additive type of thing, maybe like a small little thing across the bottom, which I'm gonna try that anyway for the sake of trying to make it prettier. See how it turns out. Say so we did a full strip there and got into some of these angled. Oops, I did have the right one. Okay. try to make it look like it kind of fits, like it was a little bit designer. I don't know. What if we did another one, but we'll have to use these gap blocks here. It doesn't work out so well, does it? It does to a point, but yeah. But then it kind of breaks down when it gets to this area. Maybe doing both. Now on this row, though, it looks like most of these blocks in this area are editable. Yeah, all of them actually. Okay, I'm good with that. Cool. So, maybe it's time to look at another fuel tank. You gotta watch the CPU on these things too. I don't think fuel is taking a lot. And again, I don't exactly know how this is going to play with vanilla yet. I'll have to take a good look at that. The thing is, I don't want a fuel tank next to a generator. Although this is a backup generator, isn't it? These two generators aren't even going to be installed in the ship when you get it. They're just purely extra spaces for more generators. But that still doesn't mean I want a fuel tank butted up next to it. It's in the wall here. There's some room in the walls too. Huh. So I hate just, I mean, obviously it's easy enough to just fill this in. I guess, you know, maybe I could get by with a fuel tank location if I reinforced the blocks below where the generator would actually go and used some steel blocks on the edges here. And also likewise change that other block to steel. Or actually, you know what? Let's try to get something a little bit more neat in there. Try something like that. Oops. Okay, so we got those two, and this probably should be carbon. Oh, I did put steel there too. Yeah, I wanted steel. A mystery to me is if this generator was popped here, and this block, is this block steel? Yes. And that block is steel as well. Would that prevent chain reaction explosion to hit this? That is something I'm not entirely sure on. Or maybe I try a different block here too. Could try to do some pipey things. I could go with big pipe. Little pipes, I don't know. I think I'd rather have the big pipe here. Alright. Spray that back in. I'm not exactly liking how this is off-centered to that one over here on this side. This side it doesn't bother me because it doesn't have the secondary fuel tank. This side does. Or I change this formation on this side entirely. Doesn't have to be the same as the other side there. Probably shouldn't be. Definitely not putting a fuel tank there. That's always this fuel tank. Oh no, bad. Fuel tank's butted right up against a thruster on the outside. Didn't recognize that. Yeah, that's a bad place for a fuel tank. I guess I just put it back in the center how it was. Let me undo a few things and get that out of there. Now maybe, geez, oxygen tanks I worry a lot less about. Nope, can't put it there. Okay. I'm not sure what to put there. Obviously a cargo box should fit too, but kind of a weird spot on the middle of nowhere for a cargo box. So we do have the fuel tank here. Is this button up against any immediate contact to thruster? No. No, this one I think is, I think this one, oh wait, on the bottom side. Block, Just trying to get something in the wall. But you know what? Despite me wanting fuel tanks, I'm going to go with an oxygen tank. It's safer. It's safer. Maybe I remove this oxygen tank then. My setup here isn't... Oh, look at that. Huh. Alright, well. It's telling me I shouldn't mess with this too much. I don't like this off-centered pattern. I was trying to do something with this. If this is filled in, it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me at all. If it's not filled in and I try to do something there and it doesn't center to everything else here, it'll bug me. So, yeah, I'm gonna just go cheap. Couple filler blocks there. All right, and in the top corners here up by the generators too, or the future generator mount points, could get a little detail in with maybe a couple of these kind of things. Maybe up in the sides. Doesn't have to be that thick. Could go with a thin one there too, but something like that. Yeah, alright. Alright. Do I want to try to put the Wi-Fi in this room area or find another place for that in the ship? That's a good question. Yeah, I'll keep it there. It's a reminder. And obviously I'm going to need to put in a core room here somewhere too. It's not going to be like some crazy core room with tons of core locations, but I want you to be able to throw in a couple improved cores and maybe even more than that, but I'm not sure what on this ship would need more than that. But who knows, you know. I'll also take one of these and put it over the door there. Could probably do that to both sides here. Alright, so LCDs I believe will work for the display that would fit in these two locations. I almost kind of want to put in a fake wall on the back side here, or well, I guess it's a real wall. It's not really fake. Just for now. So this has a solid backing and is airtight from the hangar. Okay. Well, that's all right. That's all right where we're at now. Let's try to figure out some light positions. And with lighting, one thing I wanted to put a enhancement on is this area. I would like to illuminate better than the other side of the hangar because here's where the stuff is. And then, of course, I want the journal hangar to be illuminated too. So what I want to do is try to take a light, maybe a one-of-a-kind round light, and put it directly above where the repair bay is, in the center there. And then another journal light that could kind of shine across this front wall. That's another area that I want to put an emphasis on light on, because that's where your equipment is. So let's say we start here and trying to figure out the angle that light source should come down to about where I want it. But here's the thing. I want to illuminate this area. And this is going to be, it's a little harder to do. I could go about it a couple different ways. I could try to put in a one-of-a-kind light that beams in on that side. It will look awkward to the top of the ship here, for sure. But I don't know. Sometimes you can back that with a little bit of stuff, and a little asymmetrical thingy isn't necessarily a bad thing. I still, oh, I must have drained all the fuel out of this thing here. Alright, so, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to change to nighttime a second. I just want to get a general idea where my light is flowing and get these some general light settings in here. So this one here, I can keep it white light for now, but I'm going to put it in spotlight mode. I'm going to up the intensity to 2, the range to max, and also expand out the spotlight angle on that one. Again, trying to illuminate that area. And then do something similar for this one here. So that would be the more general areas of light. Now these lights are going to be tweaked heavily before things are done. I just kind of wanted to see what it's going to take to light those up and see if my positions are going to generally work all right. Maybe dial these in a little bit better so the light doesn't have to fill up the whole area. Now one other idea I had, I've got one position, one block row position I could add a light here, but the problem is it's going to be facing the wrong way. I don't want to light up this area, I want to light up this area. One possible way I could do that is a non-centered light rotated like this and facing across that wall, kind of how it is. Actually, I kind of like that. Let's get rid of this one. So that could light up this section relatively okay, especially if I up the spotlight angle on it, but maybe lower down the range. But this area is really dark, so we're going to need another main light here. Now this light I was kind of just trying to keep as a repair bay light. One thing that could be done with this is, say you put it in spotlight mode with a very tight angle, high range, decent intensity. You can make a nice little circle, like illumination thing, through the rest of the lights in there. And you can even trigger this on, I believe, when the repair bay is active. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that one. I've never tried it, actually. But maybe. And then back over here, what I'm thinking about doing is adding 2 more lights. Maybe one to each side of the hangar door. Yeah, I guess something like that. I'll just put in gray for this right now, and we'll get it to a more normalized spotlight angle for now. Place a second one. And that'd be, obviously a lot of tweaking would be taking place to this. That's just generally speaking. At least the base lighting. Now once everything's textured, this will get tweaked again. And one thing that's missing, and one thing I did not put in here yet, is an ambient light, or a light that is not a spotlight, that can usually project in max radius and just kind of stay, I don't know, like I could put it virtually anywhere. Like say I took the opposite of the one light, so it kind of blends in pretty good. Or, well, let's space it out one more. So I'll change the settings on this one. Let's go to the space cool color, get rid of that, lower the intensity down. This makes no difference on these lights at all. And that gives you a little bit of that blue overlying ambience around the room area, which can really accent things a lot. Especially, again, it's hard to tell in white box form like this, but once you get a full set of textures and texture lights and all the other goodies going on, it can make a lot of difference. And then on the center here, I'll just put something there, and paint those that color. Well, now it's pretty plain yet. It's pretty plain. I'm thinking one last thing here. I'll turn on daylight again. Oops. And I want to chop up the ceiling up here a little bit more. But just trying to match the pattern that's going on. At least in those locations. Alright, so now we're looking for a block that could be interesting enough to add a little bit of detail in here somehow. That has a solid surface on one side of it. See, because I got this curving in, I don't really want to do that same pattern there, but I'm wondering if I could just get a little something in there. Maybe something like that. Just a little bit more complexity. Could also, let's do like a one-off thing out in one of these here. Let's take a couple of these blocks on either side. I did that on the inside. Okay, 2 of those. Let's just randomly put in a couple curvy things here. Why not? Don't really need to match that pattern up here, and in fact it wouldn't line up right anyway, so we'll stop there with it. One last thought, one last idea. Could we put in a very weird block like this one in there too, to make it look even a little bit more like a thing? I think that'll work. And should that thing also join up to this beam structure? Thank goodness the word thing is in the dictionary, because I wouldn't know what to call a lot of this stuff if it didn't exist. Because I don't know what this is. It's a thing. No, let's not do that one. Let's do this one. Yeah, look at that. So then we can kind of I'll have to I put that in wrong. Gotta make sure this one's rough to see. I want to make sure that the angled surface is individually paintable from the rest of the block. So I see a solid dividing line like that. And we'll find out in the end when I texture it. Yeah, I'll deal with that when I texture it. Okay, so now this weird thingy kind of merges with the other beam thingy, and then our thingies are in alignment. Not so sure I like this cornered edge though. It's not bad. It's an unusual shape pattern, I suppose. Well, not really unusual, but yeah. Alright, well, added in, more upgrade parts. That's something I'll try to do when doing the interior. I don't like to waste space. I don't like to necessarily fill in full solid blocks, but it is necessary in almost every build. Okay, so another thing I wanted to look at real quick is this would be a spot to add in a big lift thruster. This needs to be sealed up over here. On that side, do I get the same thing going on the other side? I do. Okay. And this is a additional location for a down thrust. That kind of was too, but all right. And yeah, I think I'll have to stop there on this video. The next part is obviously this engineering area, which I'm going to have to try to figure out a nice way to put in some the main core and some CPU core blocks in here and make it as pretty as possible. And then after that, we have the upstairs. The upstairs has our firm plots installed. It's got this big gap in the ceiling where the shield is fitting that I'm going to have to do something with. Not sure exactly what yet, but I'll try to figure something out there. Obviously, the cheapest, easiest scenario would be put a real thin row of like flooring or like real thin blocks with some beveled edges over that, but I'll see if I can find a more elegant way of doing that, or actually putting something useful in that area. Be kind of neat. And then after that would be the bridge section. The ship's not that big though, so these sections as a whole are not taking like a extraordinarily long time to do. But I'll stop there. Now, I may go ahead and texture this area off screen and then show you what it would look like textured. And typically when I do texture things too, I'll find more little things I could change or do to try to make it a little prettier along the way. So it's possible there could be a couple block changes, but this is the general layout at least, and the general lighting. That's just kind of how I do pretty much most builds, player builds. I mean, if it's a POI or something that you don't care about any of this stuff on, it's easier. It's a lot easier. You don't have to concern yourself with all the parts and function and getting around and not getting fried by heat and all the other fun things. But a fairly tight space like this is kind of fun to work with and try to cram in as much as you possibly can. You know, of course, I'm trying to make this ship accommodate everything that I can. Obviously, it's never going to be a combat ship, but it'd be nice, you know, to have it work as a good workhorse ship at least, you know, and be able to do general functions at a starter CV level, or maybe, you know, upgrade it a little bit beyond that and carry around some other things with you. Well, all right. Anyway, I'll stop there today, and hope you enjoyed this. I'll have another video on this as well, working on other areas of it. Like I said, I may texture that hangar area, or the next video will probably be focusing more on probably like this section and the lower section down here, and whatnot. Yeah, all right. Y'all have yourself a good day. I will talk to you later.